don't know who's going to go down there to farm. They don't know if it's like an anti-mage or an Ember or a Slark. I mean, if it's a Slark, this would have been great, but they don't know anything yet. Huh.
And LGD is going to go for Bane.
The Bane pick really throws me here, guys.
Yeah.
Bane's only 10 and 16 so far at TI5. Has not fared well on the main stage. And he doesn't, I was looking for a hero that would combo with the Phoenix.
I mean, Bane has sort of some synergy, I feel, with the egg because you can grip and sleep one if they come and focus the egg. So in that regard, it has some sort of play together.
Well, that's not really why you pick the Bane. I mean, you don't pick it for the egg.
Yeah, I mean, there's always
better
stuff for the egg, like the Wyvern. And
it's picked for laning phase purposes, I imagine. But I don't know why. Like, we saw Secret do this too. They picked the Dazzle and the Bane, and that's something I don't think you can pull off, like, almost ever. Now you're facing a Phantom Lancer too, so you pretty much have two heroes that do nothing to the PL. Phoenix is decent, but the moment I'm wondering what LGD is looking for, because this early Phoenix pick, I can only imagine they have something in mind. I think they already know what hero they want last.
Why? What did you just say?
And they're taking out the Silencer, which is a natural enemy of the Phoenix.
Dazzle and Bane.
Yeah, it's not going to be one of the usual combos, right? Because they already have their two supports. I don't think they're going to run a farm.
It has to be some interesting pick here.
I think it's going to be a Tidehunter or something alike. Something... No?
Wow.
Yeah?
It's a thing, guys.
And the meta changes, just like that.
I mean, it's just team fight, right? Just all on team fight.
Yeah, and it is a strong lineup at the period of the game. I mean, LGD have clearly read the script.
Very interesting, because coming into this, or at least at the start of the change of the patch, many people were telling me that they were very passive, probably too passive early game, and that they hadn't adapted to the meta. I think we can throw that one out of the window.
I mean, this is the first time LGD have picked Luna in 25 games.
Would you actually do like Phoenix dueling with a Bane to pressure the PL?
They could pressure the PL, or they could make sure that there's no Darkseer dual lane shenanigans with, like, because these two supports, they secure your lane really well. You can also battle it out. Yeah, you could also battle it out with two supports.
All right, well, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us, Notan, as well. We'll head down to the commentary desk for game one of our upper bracket semi-final.
Thank you very much, Red. Yes, we're here to get underway to see if it is possible for CDEC to achieve what they haven't done in the history of their team. It is going and winning a series up against LGD. They came close during the G League finals, but it was still 3-2 in favor of LGD. Will it be possible today, Sind?
A lot has happened since then. I think both teams have improved a lot, and just the fact that they're here in the winner bracket semifinals speaks to, of course, speaks for their strengths. And I guess going in, it's fair to say LGD are probably most people's favorites. But from the teamwork and execution we've seen from CDEC, I think we're in for one hell of a series here. Personally, for me, I like LGD's draft a lot in this game. I think they have a very good mix of physical and magical damage. They have a good solution for the PL between the Shadow Fiend and the Luna, I think. And also the Phoenix can be pretty decent. At the same time, you look over at CDEC, good choice of words. They definitely have some good heroes here, because what will often happen when you play Luna and Shadow Fiend on the same team is that they'll move in close together, and these heroes can butcher each other with the Winter's Curse, so you need to be a little bit careful here if you're LGD, but definitely a solid draft from both sides, and I'm really curious to see how they put their lanes. I think that's going to have a very major impact in this particular game.
Well, you're going to find out. CDEC are going to start to move into their positions in just a couple of moments' time. For me, I love the CDEC lineup as far as their ability to just get aggressive and try and dictate the play. Want to look for that early farm over on the Tuskar, see if he's able to have an effect. Remembering what Fly was capable of doing with the Tuskar, if we remember back to yesterday, it wasn't that long ago. And without even having a Blink Dagger, being able to control a lot of the fights. Then you got Lina with her burst damage, Wyvern with his control, and this can all buy a lot of space to go with the PL, while Darkseer is also buffing up a lot of the fights and chasing down, be it Surge or Iron Shell effects coming in. So, man, for me, I love CDEC's lineup. I think it's nice. It lets them play the game that they want to play, while LGD has to wait a little bit longer before they can do such a thing.
And I think the only reason CDEC decided to go for the Wyvern as their last pick was that they had the Darkseer. I think the Wyvern in itself is decent here, but it's not incredible. But of course, if you can get that vacuum combo into Winter's Curse and you have that kind of team facing you, and you have some decent combo, I guess, with it, between Ice Shards and Lina Stun and Dragon Slave if you can land that at the given time. But it's not a very obvious combo here for CDEC, apart from the vacuum. So
Well, you get your lanes now, Sin, so it will be Shiki up with Q going up against Maybe in this mid. So they're going to try and keep the SF zoned out. Didn't go for the Razors early on, he went for the Necro Mastery instead, while Yao wants to hold on to this Icarus dive. They're going to shard him up and instantly force the dive back, already dropping him by half of his life. Worried about this Tuskar as well as PL combo, both shards as well as Lance. That takes a lot of life early on.
Yeah, this is Phoenix's main weakness, is if you can zone it out very fast on level 1. Icarus dive has a very long cooldown, 36 seconds on an non-ultimate spell is pretty rare. The Fire Spirits as well on level 1, even longer cooldown on 45. So it is a very momentum-based hero in the sense that during these early fights, you kind of have to make it work with your abilities. Also,
top lane.
Yeah, he's going to have to use it again.
Yep.
Good timing from Yao though, going in just as it's ready again. If he was in there 2 seconds earlier, he would have died to this gank. So nice for him. At the same time, they're doing what they need to do on the top lane for CDEC, keeping him out nicely.
No, and also burning through his consumables. He's going to have to trigger the salve now.
He started with 8 tangos in that salve though. It's going to take a while.
Yeah, it will. But what have you really lost in return? The Tuskar, he burned a little bit of mana, but brought 2 clarities up there. It was a rotation from the Wyvern, so he left the mid lane. And you threw out another Lance from the PL. So PL's not having the greatest time because he's got no mana for another Lance. But he's got space. In fact, Yao not even burning his salve. He wants to hold on to it. He's going all the way back home.
Oh, he's just going to block the wave.
Okay.
If he blocks it well enough, he's actually not going to be able to get experience here anyway. If Aggressive plays this right, he just tanks the creep wave outside of his own tower, and should be plenty of time for this to come up. So Yao with a good idea here, but in this particular situation, it's not really helping his case at all. He's now going to try to have a look at the top room. He's also a little bit too late for that, so unfortunately for him, a little bit mistimed here. They will see it, but they already had a ward to do that with, so not the biggest difference. Garter gets a haste, and this is just going to make Maybe play back very, very far and carefully here.
Especially knowing, like, if he gets sharded as well, Snowball, that's why Xiaowe's moved the tree line. But Xiaowe's not level 2 just yet.
Nightmare.
While bottom lane, they start with the Nightmare, and this could be real trouble here for XZ, as now Surge away. They had the Lucent Beam for the stun. The attack damage is not going to be enough. Darkseer back into the tree line. While the Tuskar haste string came to naught, they didn't get close enough to really do anything about it. But it is keeping Maybe down, as you were saying. So he's sitting at 9-2. There's a new creep wave coming in, so he's not too far behind Shiki.
The fact that this kill on XZ isn't successful is very important. First of all, it's the first blood, but secondly, he gets his level 3 because he survives. And this allows him to be way more effective if he wants to rotate into the jungle that they're currently stacking. I'm assuming they want to give him the majority rather than the Lina, because I think Shiki will be fine in the mid lane on his own. But we'll see what the decision is here, because we're reaching a point now where the Darkseer has to be scared. He's out of regen. Luna is closing in on level 4, means level 5 is not too far away, generally goes pretty fast, and those Lucent Beams will just be keeping him away. He will still be shelling a little bit here, trying to get whatever he can.
It's a little bit of a rough lane for Sile. Like, you're talking about the Lucent Beams, but his attack range is so low that he keeps coming in range of the Iron Shells and ticking away with damage.
And they're way worse now. That was a level 1 Iron Shell, I think, on the last creep he was just tanking, so... I can't remember when this was changed. I seem to remember Iron Shells getting longer range at one point. The radius, I think, was up from 200 to 250, but I do think that's a very long time ago, actually, now that I think about it. The recent buff to Darkseer that got him back was mainly the Iron Shells lasting 5 more seconds, which is a huge deal, allowing you to have 3 Iron Shells on at the same time. And of course, just that little bit more lane pressure.
MMY as well as XZ. He's going to deny the rune.
I'm surprised he didn't just take it.
He could have. He might have just been worried about like an Iron Shell surge and just dropping him down too far. But he's got 2 points up in brain stats. You get the life back
for sure. And I was about to say maybe he thought he couldn't click it, but wait, how did he destroy it? So that was definitely not the case.
The danger. You accidentally take the Nightmare back. Maybe. We just hit nighttime, so he doesn't see the fact that, actually he does see it. There's the Observer Ward on the Radiant side of the river that's watching Garda's position, and that's why maybe he's just back a little bit further. Anticipating the snowball move here from CDEC. Because with that stun and with the shards, they would have been able to just go in and light strike array, do a little bit of burst damage, and just slow him down. But he still doesn't move down. Like, SF's still got a couple of stacks here to farm up, and Xiao Wei is going to prepare it again. So this will be a triple stack now available for the SF.
This top lane for LGD is actually something important happened here. The Wyvern used Arctic Burn, but didn't get in range for Yao, and Yao saw it being used as well. So that means He knows he has like a good 40 seconds that he could be completely safe in, and puts on a lot of harassment onto Aggressive, who's down to 200 health. Needs to be careful with the next Salve of Fire Spirits here. That is ready. New barrage.
Maybe he can bring more consumables out to himself.
Do they have any regen form? They have one Tango from Garter.
That's not really that much. If the Courier waited a little bit longer, it could have brought out a Salve. But Aggressive actually, okay, so he bought a Salve.
Yeah, he is getting it.
Yep.
This is what he needs to do. This is the unfortunate consequence of playing a melee core against a Phoenix in lane who doesn't get completely shut down, is that you're just going to have to buy extra regen. Phoenix has so cost-efficient harassment if you have the accuracy for it. You see he even forces out a doppelganger here from Aggressive. It's another one.
He just can't break free. Also, just to note, the Courier went back to base, but it didn't pick up the circlet for Aggressive. So that was going to be the end of his magic wand. So this won't complete, but the Courier was back at the well, so it was just a bit of a misclick that he didn't bring his items out.
Not the end of the world, though. The most important thing is that he has a stick, at least. So he gets those extra charges. Of course, 2-all stats sometimes is the difference between life and death. Anyone remember the Ironwood branch of TI4? It can happen from time to time, but generally, these 2-all stats will not be the biggest deal for him.
Well, looks like we've got a smoke movement coming out from CDEC. Garter Q as well as Shiki going to combine up here together. It's a lot of control. There's actually 2 points up in the Splinter Blast. There's no cold embrace here for the Wyvern. So if they get in trouble, there won't be a get out of jail free card unless they try and use Snowball defensively. But unlikely they would want to be aggressive with this. And they're coming down for the SF. So SF's in the process of taking out the last 3 big creeps. There's only 1 left now. Observer Ward, so they see Xiao Wei. They could potentially just snowball on the tree line, and in they go. Bring him in, and Xiao Wei, the Shallow Grave is up, and the Razor's Garter as well as Q taking a lot of damage, but Xiao Wei, the Shallow Grave won't last long enough. The Splinter Blast follows him down. The first blood goes to the Wyvern, but instead, Yao is TP'd on the way in. Shiki with a Laguna Blade, able to find another kill. It's 2 for CDEC, maybe chasing him down. Another Life Striker Ray over onto the Brain Stab. He's not dead yet. Bonk charging up, but Garter, he's in trouble. A double kill comes in for maybe a Shiki, the TP! Barely out! Almost denied unintentionally to the Wild Wings.
How ice cold can you get? You could have... Oh my. Of course he doesn't know there's a stack there, but the moment you've clicked it, you have no choice, right?
Yep.
Man, that was so close.
He's lucky that wasn't an Alpha Wolf or something, or else he would not have survived.
Would have been kind of weird for there to be an Alpha Wolf in that camp, though.
It would have, yes. Anything with a little
starting
bit more
to migrate camps. Switching over a little bit. Anyway, 2 for 2 exchange. The first blood did go the way of CDEC in that particular situation, so I think they're pretty happy with that. Also, the rotation forced out from the Phoenix gave a little bit of time for Aggressive to get a good level advantage up here. He's now level 7.5 against 5.5 on Yao.
They did still get a double kill over on the SF. So that is true. That's a significant problem. When you're flash farming an SF, he's up to 4.3k in the net worth, which is a full 1,000 above that of Shiki. And then you've still got Sylar, a man which you do not let free farming a Luna.
Yeah, it's looking good on the farming stats for LGD so far. They tried to challenge maybe Shadow Fiend a little bit in the start, but it hasn't really had that much of an impact. The stacks have been his. He's up to 65 CS at minute 8. So cruising toward a 10 CS per minute around the 10-minute mark, which we generally only see when Shadow Fiends have like almost completely uncontested farm. And looking to get another stack going here on the large camp. And meanwhile, they give Yao level 6 in mid. He doesn't want to be in the top lane. Aggressive was being a little bit too annoying. And in mid lane, he's going to play against his frosty counterpart in the Winter Wyvern.
It's a lot safer there for him. And Icarus Dive's going to bring you back behind the tier 1 tower. If he's up on top, he might come in range of the tier 1, but that's where CDEC could still end up diving him.
Oh, they're going to surge onto Sylar.
Down the bottom lane, the Shards actually pushing him back for a moment, and now Garter, the Eclipse just turns on. Sylar will take a kill, and they're going to get more here. CDEC going too deep on LGD. The Bane catching out the Lina, and there's no control over on XZ, so he'll just surge himself away to safety. While in middle lane, you want to see 5 versus Ice. There's the embrace onto the Winter Wyvern, into the Nova now from the Phoenix. Wyvern's going to get stunned by this, or is he? He's just on the edge, but now will be a dive into Spirits. He's going to want to into the tree line, and Wyvern, the Arctic Burn, he's actually getting himself away. Back down the tower, the burn does not last long enough to find the kill. Barely surviving, he'll embrace himself, but LGD now pushing the tier 1 tower on the bottom lane. They're still going to get what they wanted. More towers, unless this TP can do something about it. Garda gonna start snowballing in, didn't bring the lead, he's got Laguna Blade available. They want maybe, but the Fiend's Grip as well is a nightmare. They can't find the opening. Also with the heal, the bouncing glaives going up, they brought down the Tusker. Shiki's backing up. The tower will still drop when Aggressive comes to the fight. Sylar needs protection right now. There's not a nightmare available for the moment, but there's a lot of PLs up and running, and they'll bring down MMY. Shallow Grave making it difficult, and the Darkseer wall and back, they bring him back. Sylar, Laguna Blade up, MMY stunned up. He'll go down as well into Sylar, and Aggressive starting to walk over LGD. Jiawei still running out of here. Now does not have an Icarus die, but he can lend some spirits over, slowing down this PL, but there's more PLs where that came from, chasing in Jiawei, and this is a very, very dead Dazzle. A double kill for Aggressive. Even more aggression into Yao. Is he going to go into the tower? He actually dances down, looking for Yao, and the jump in front takes out the tree line, nowhere to hide. Yao, no Icarus type, 5 seconds. Actually, yep, there it is. Lancers will come in, and Aggressive finds a triple kill underneath the Tier 3 tower of LGD, while the Tier 1 tower still remains.
I don't think there's been a single carry player in this tournament that's been as successful with his early rotations as Aggressive. He is extremely good at showing up at the right time and pushing it to the limit here, getting 3 kills with that exchange. In addition to that, they also get the bottom Tier 1, because while he was out hunting, Lina was just pushing out the lane. Major win here for CDEC, as it looked like LGD were getting a good trade, even getting the Tier 1 tower. It ends up being CDEC getting the more important tower, as well as a good trade on their PL.
And what a time for CDEC to fight. Like, they knew Supernova was down. That attempted attack over on the Winter Wyvern, it didn't come out. And then CDEC were like, well, okay, we're not up against Nova. The Eclipse got blown fairly early. Yes, it found a kill, but then CDEC was free to do whatever they wanted after that point. Wait out the Shallow Grave, still find more kills, and the Darkseer with an early point up in the wall did a lot of work. He's actually moving very close towards that mech, and that's going to make CDEC's next team fight even stronger. But LGD, they're forcing the issue nice and early. They've got Nova back up again. The Weave going to give vision, and then the stun with the Fiend's Grip with Lina caught inside the Eclipse.
This is a tower. They can't fight without their Lina. She is an absolute key piece to their team fight. They might actually try it here. I doubt it, though.
It'll be dangerous to do so.
Oh,
but you do
hold
have
the tower. Looks like they're a little bit scared here of overextending. Of course, maybe the risk of Lina having a buyback TP is repelling them here. It's not available, but of course they don't know for sure. And they did use Eclipse and Fiend's Grip, so even fighting 5-on-4 could perhaps be risky with the potential of the Wyvern.
Yeah, got to keep tabs on Q right now. As you see Sylar chipping him down a little bit. There's no easy way to get forward, and that is going to be that Tier 1 tower dropping. So LGD backing up. They've already taken now 2 Tier 1 towers in this game, but the same can be said for CDEC. Keeping it nice and even. In fact, even the goals not moving by much. It's pretty close to 0. Experience doing the same thing, so I was expecting a pretty close game in this one, Sind. I was expecting LGD and CDEC just to show us wonderful Dota, great rotations, and right now, we've got it. Great team fight work. This SF is still getting very, very big. The mech is already on maybe, and he's got another 1,200 gold.
And that's a slight worry for CDEC, because their big Shadow Fiend counters are very reliant on getting farm. They need an Acceptor on Lina, which is of course very far away, doesn't have the Yules just yet, but very close to that. And the other counter, of course, is just getting a really farm PL. I mean, sure, you can Winter's Curse the Shadow Fiend when he's BKB'd, but it doesn't really matter that much if you can't bring him down. And Tusk with just the Walrus Punch is not even remotely close to being able to kill off this SF. 17 armor, he's going to sit on about 1,200 health with Strength Treads right now, and then of course when he gets the BKB, we're looking at almost close to 1,400-1,500 with a little bit of levels as well.
It looks like Aggressive is trying to avoid most fights. He went for Boots of Travel as his first major item after the drums. So just moving around on the side lanes. Kind of works against LGD, whose 5-man is quite strong.
Yeah, they don't want to play split push Dota, but at the same time they at least have one good hero for pickoffs, which of course is MMY on the Bane. Rocking the smoke, is going to use it.
Yep, maybe. Yao, MMY, holding hands and heading towards the north. And they'll venture into the dire jungle. Gonna move closer towards the lane. Garda very close, but not close enough to break that smoke. But Q and Shiki already realize something is wrong. They don't see anyone really there. The Observer Ward does scout out Sylar, moving towards the top lane, and I think, yeah, CDEC has realized what's going on. Aggressive's back at base, and I want to see where he's going to BT out, because this will just show us if CDEC wants to fight, and the answer is no. He BTs down to the bot lane, and is going to try to add some pressure towards that Tier 2 tower.
I believe this is Aggressive's standard build when he plays PL. Some players favor more of a fighting build with treads into fast defusal, but Aggressive is good at contributing even without the early defusal, so gets a lot more split push action out. And I think in this particular game, it's actually a really good call, because for CDEC, it's going to be all about just finding key pickoffs when they can and just skirmishing with their Tusk and Lina. And then when the big team fights come, they want them to happen as late as possible. And just this little bit of movement from Aggressive is going to trigger a response from Salar, who's going to TP down to bottom, and they give up their push top.
But look where CDEC's coming. They had a 4-man smoke, but they actually only keep 3 down at the Radiant jungle, dropping down the sentry wall. There's no Invis heroes moving in, and maybe it's going to raise against these PL illusions, but he only saw Aggressive. He didn't see the rest of them, so CDEC wants to do a loop around and come in from behind, maybe as well as Zhao Wei. They're not sure about it. They leave an Observer Ward down. They are really not sure.
Yeah, they're respecting the Shadow Fiend because Lina wasn't there. I think if Lina is inside the smoke, they just go for that snipe, but they're playing the number game here and realize, okay, the risk of a 4-on-5 breaking out here is not really worth the reward should they get the kill. It's a great kill, but the chance that they get it at no cost is very, very low.
Yeah. It seems also like a very telegraphed kind of move. CDEC not moving up to that top tower. If you are really running a BT Phantom Lancer, he'll be moving wherever the farm is when his BTs are off cooldown. But instead, they show Aggressive on the bot lane, and LGD realize the warning bells are ringing. They back up to the mid lane. There's still so much fun to be had on top lane.
It's going to go mid instead, though.
Yep.
This is where the tower is being pressured the most right now. We'll see if he's going to rotate top or just have someone else port up there. But actually, the number... They're pushing, as a matter of fact, in the top lane. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought LGD got a bit of momentum going there, but it seems not to be the case.
CDEC are pushing out in the bottom lane, so Sylar was the man to come and defend, but there's a 3-man smoke movement coming out from LGD, and Shiki walks directly into it. He does have a self-heal step, the Nightmare from MMY, now a Snowball going after that Bane, locked in position with also Laguna Blade, they bring him down, and Q actually flying over the tree line that Nova won't be able to connect on anyone until Aggressive throws a fresh lance in, and they get the curse off. Maybe and Sylar locked together, the Shadow Grave will be there, and now into the Eclipse, Garda's already down, it's a double kill for Sylar. The Darkseid Wall will still cause some issues until that Requiem pops out from maybe. XZ's on the run, moving away as fast as he possibly can down the stairwell, but he cannot move fast enough not to get that surge off. It is a 3-kill for LGD against CDEC, and they could potentially just pop into Roshan.
Shallow Grave is so good against what CDEC are playing here. Even though they blow up the Bane immediately, they commit the Laguna Blade, and that's the key ability they have to try to, I was going to say bypass the Shallow Grave, but rather just, you know, kill him before it even comes off. This time they're not able to, and it's very easy for Zhao Wei to get a good grave off on Maybe, because he is as tanky as he is, you get to react unless there's a big burst of damage coming out. And it was already used for CDEC, so reading the situation very well there. LGD, of course, taking major advantage of the fact that they were fighting high ground with Luna and Shadow Fiend. This is like the spot for both heroes right here where they took the fight. It's absolutely incredible to fight right up there.
Well, LGD grouping up now, up on top lane. Yao's gonna hang around the mid and try and keep the creep wave away, which is where Winter Wyvern's currently forcing it. And Aggressive already TPing all the way back to base. As you said, he is working his way into that Diffusal Blade, now only 900 gold away from it. And LGD is just gonna be given a free tower on top. CDEC are in no position to defend this. So they farm up the Darkseer on bot. Even Garda's having a bit of a roam around. So just leaving Maybe on the top lane. It's going to take a little bit longer than I thought. And Aggressive actually going in towards the mid lane now. They're still going to let him have it.
Tower is under attack.
Even though they would have had time to probably bring in the troops.
Top tower has fallen.
So Midas, kind of late for Yao, actually, considering how much experience he got in the lane. Not too much gold. 27 CS minute 19.
2 deaths doesn't help with that.
Absolutely not. Minute 19 Midas. So we're probably looking at a level 11 Phoenix around minute 22, which, you know, it's not extremely late for an offlaner, but for Phoenix it makes a very big difference in the ability for CDEC to just take his egg out. Phantom Lancer can always remove the Fire Spirits by using Doppelganger and just focusing down the egg really hard. The Winter Wyvern has long range with Arctic Burn, so can also easily access the egg. And let's not forget Lina, when she gets Fiery Soul up. She's one of the absolute best heroes in Dota at destroying the Supernova.
Not to mention, she might just kill off the Phoenix before he even gets that off. You got a level 2 Laguna Blade currently over on that Lina.
That's
only
another
active
benefit.
except that they're building into it.
Ideally, she wants to save the Laguna Blade for Shadow Fiend or Luna, though. But both of those heroes will have their
he's found
BKBs,
Luna.
but
Yule
this maybe has
Scepter.
it.
Okay, triggering the drum charge. Sala's on the run. Shiki right behind him. The shard's going to be too deep, too shallow. Cannot reach Luna in time.
Kind of surprised it didn't try the Yules. I think it would have been a kill.
It looked like it was in range, but instead he just went for the Slave.
And that's probably the last chance he's going to get to solo kill the Luna here, because BKB is only 500 gold away. For Sally, he's going to try to find it top. A little bit of a warp being dropped down by Q to spot the area. And another thing to keep in mind about Luna, since this hero hasn't been played quite a bit for a while, is the teams might not be so used to playing against the night vision right now, because the night vision heroes are not that popular. Which heroes is it that have extra night vision? It's mainly Luna, Slark, and Night Stalker that have really good night vision. I think they might be the 3 only ones with 1800. There could be one more, but it does, of course, make Luna a lot safer from these nighttime ganks. Unless you smoke, she will generally see you before you can see her with regular vision. And a very powerful ability to have in a carry. Half the time, you see longer than the enemy, and that's pretty good.
Just means CDEC's got to get in closer a little bit earlier. But yeah, seeing that snowball coming in or a PL about to doppelganger over definitely does help. So CDEC, they're actually going to back up now to the tier 2 tower. They do have a smoke over on the Wyvern, but they come up onto the hillside before they do it. Luckily, they are not smoking because an observer ward is watching their movements around the secret shop. So the 4 of them grouping up together has been flanked by LGD.
Double BKBs. I dare say there's absolutely no way that CDEC win a team fight right now. I think this is... When they realize these 2 BKBs are up, they're going to try for the split push and just dodging fights as much as possible. Now, the good news for them is that if they manage to just drag this game out of it, even if Luna and Shadow Fiend find good farm, they have really good heroes at turning them against it themselves. They have both the Winter's Curse and the Wall. If they land both of them very well, they can overcome even, you know, historically, you remember a long time back when teams were worse at pushing high ground? How Darkseer lineups would just defend with a 20k deficit? This lineup is actually even better than those lineups back then. You can, with Darkseer and Wyvern, the game is almost never over.
Because you always know you can just turn it around on them. And this, well, I think in just today alone.
Sal is getting bothered a lot by the PL up here, just poking him with
He's losing all of his mana.
Yep.
Like, he's basically dry. Even if you do have the ult, it's not going to work. But at the same time, maybe great position that we actually going to trigger out the snowball. And now in comes the Wyvern, gets the curse off, actually locking up the Dazzle. So Winston Shallow Grave, and then into the Nova. Garda will end up falling as Wyvern embraced himself. The back in, MMY, the Fiend Strip being stopped, and Shallow Wayne, the PL has arrived, bringing down the Dazzle. And maybe he's not too healthy either. Not a lot of life, and no matter whatsoever, they throw the Darkseer wall down. The Yule Scepter protecting Shiki, and now they can move over towards MMY. And this will be a triple kill coming the way of CDEC, double in for aggressive. And all they lost was a Tusker, and considering he was walking up into the LGD trap, CDEC should be ecstatic about how that turned out.
That was a very uncharacteristically risky play from Xiaowei, generally, or from LGD, of course led by Xiaowei, I'm guessing he made the call here. Generally, they play very solid and safe plays, but this time they go for a 4-man gank into the enemy jungle without the Luna, who would provide them the night vision. It's their strongest teamfight hero next to Shadow Fiend probably. And they also didn't get Grave off from Xiaowei. He wanted to keep it for the Shadow Fiend, and CDEC identified it and targeted him with the Winter's Curse, and afterwards the PL ran him down. And at the end of the day, he ended up not even getting to use it, which is, of course, even worse than using it on himself and then seeing the Shadow Fiend die next to him.
And LGD cannot afford to have that happen again. That was 2,000 gold and experience being lost for them. And that actually gives CDEC the advantage back again. And CDEC can make the most out of it. I'm still watching that Luna to see when her Aghanim is going to arrive. It is now 500 gold away. We still don't have Garda with any real initiation beyond Snowball, because he doesn't have that Blink Dagger yet.
He might not even want to go for it in this game.
Oh, Yao, actually top lane. He got caught out. He was trying to TP out. Devac ended up canceling it. And Darkseer finds a solo kill over on the Phoenix.
That is a very rare sight, that a Darkseer solos a Phoenix. And
he just caught him TP.
Yeah.
Dived into the tree line, then thought he could just tap the TP. That's 11 levels of experience, which has helped to be gained into the Darkseer.
That fight in the Dire Jungle is so crucial. Bringing Shiki up to the Aghanim Scepter will allow them to take 5-on-5s. If that was a 5-on-5, they would have been crushed. But now they might have a shot at it because the powerful Laguna Blade will be there. He'll realistically be level 16 before minute 30 as well. And then that 950 damage pure nuke will take down about 2/3 of the Luna's health right now. And the PL, of course, while all this is going on, is finding great farm as well. And what I was getting at is, I'm not sure if Garter wants to go for a Blink Dagger in this game on the Tusk. I think he might have to play a little bit more of a defensive play, being more focused on protecting his team with the Snowball, getting them out of Fiend Script, getting them out of Nightmare. And then going for Glimmer Cape could be really nice against Eclipse, against Fiend Script, against Razes, Requiem, what have you. There's so much magic damage. I think that would just be an absolute value pickup. But if you wanted it, why is he not getting the cloak, is the question. So maybe it is the Blink.
LGD smoking up now. They see Garter as well as aggressive farming. Now, they can't kill aggressive. He's too close on the tree line, so unless they get that instant Fiend Script, it's not possible. Then again, he just used Doppelganger. They can actually get the control. Fiend Script worth it at this point, and PL's going to go down.
Ouch, that is really unfortunate. And you saw him pinging the tree. He was like, guys, I used Doppelganger up here. Why am I down here? Of course, a little bit of bad RNG there.
And this is perfect for LGD because they can just slip themselves in the Roche pit. If they get a buyback from the PL, then it's still worth it for LGD. It's burning a lot of money on the PL to do this.
It's too late. They're going to let them have it.
Sigil comes in. Well, that's going to get cleared up pretty early.
Oh,
Actually fought back. They're looking for it. The kill on the Dazzle already in the back. He's got 3 men up on the hill. They can't get back down. Silas trapped here, maybe trying to finish up Roshan. The Snowball comes in. They're all trying to fight the Curse and LGD. They're playing King of the Hill, but they are not the Kings. Garter's dropping. The Nova's also going to try and do his burn off. And they're actually fighting this one. Maybe it's winning Sylar, however, trapped in the wall. He is hitting himself to death right now. On the hill, down he goes. Maybe looking for an opening on Wyvern, but then he's actually embraced himself up. There's he lands up. Diego Simona will trigger aggressive. Does he have enough to finish this job? Back to the world of living, maybe. Looking for the kill on Wyvern, can't do it. And aggressive, the answer is yes. Shadowfiend dropping quickly and down for the count. What a vac by the Darkseer, completely catching LGD, stuck in the mud on the hill.
I'm sure LGD were thinking the same thing I was. Wow, if PL isn't buying back, we've got this now. He's going to need to TP down here. He's going to have to run over. It's going to take too long. Even if they curse us up, we can just heal it and then Eclipse. They were not expecting to get cliffed like that. Beautiful play out of the Darkseer of XZ, and wow.
Shows the effectiveness of a Blink Dagger on that hero. Not to mention the control in the fights. We've been having a lesson in it today. Just how much of effect that Darkseer has, and now he can afford up a full Greaves for his team.
There's nothing very good for him to purge here, but there's no like annoying silence or root or anything on him that can remove, but it's still just a great item for the team. Of course, the passive as well as the active on it, very, very good for these team fights. And the fact that these heroes are going to get the 15 armor bonus when they drop low is incredible against a spread damage carry like Luna. When all of them drop down, those like 3rd, 4th glaive bounces will deal next to no damage. And we might even see him considering a Crimson Guard for that reason. I think that would be a very nice item this game for the side of CDEC. To keep PL's illusions alive as well. Very beneficial.
As we just showed on the graph as well, just to flag it, LGD actually didn't lose as much as you'd think from that, because they still did claim Roshan, and they still did get a lot of kills over against CDEC. Maybe it was the big man standing up and taking most of it too. And he sits at the highest net worth on the field.
I still want to give the advantage to CDEC there regardless. Like, even let's say the gold was even. Of course they won the fight, so yep. Clear advantage, right? But if the gold was even, just denying LGD from getting the Aegis for the next minutes is really crucial, because they're not good at taking the Roshan themselves right now with the PL. And it's way more attractive for LGD to go into the pit right now. Just knowing that they can farm for another 5 minutes before that becomes a problem again is really, really useful. It's the most likely aggressive play for LGD is to look for a team fight and then try to get Roche if they get like 2 pickoffs. But at this point in time, they know should it go wrong, the worst thing that can happen is that they concede a tier 2. But as long as PL pushes out the lanes, that's not even a possibility.
It isn't, and they actually can't go for an aggressive play for a while. There's no smoke over on LGD, and you're actually waiting almost 6 minutes until they have that available again. So if they are going to move aggressive, they have to consider they're going to walk underneath the CDEC wards.
I'm very happy to see aggressive going for the Manta build. I feel like this, more often than not, this is just the best PL build. Diffusal into Manta, the split push power, the team fight potential, another disjoint than Doppelganger. Extremely good.
Yeah, PL can just control everything he wants. But meanwhile, like, okay, so yes, LGD didn't get the Aegis the Immortal, but I'm seeing maybe getting bigger and bigger, and while the split push is great for PL, he doesn't have anything directly to deal with the SF at the moment. So maybe, like, as long as he doesn't lose his entire team, as what happened at the Roche pit, he should be able to find off CDEC. But they just got completely stranded and couldn't do anything LGD. But maybe was still able to inflict almost all of the damage into CDEC.
I absolutely agree. If they get caught in a better avenue for them than being stuck 3 heroes on a cliff, they could have easily done that. That's what was so beautiful about the fight. I mean, it's one thing to get a good vacuum and a good curse, but to actually single-handedly win a fight with a vacuum is like that is pretty rare nowadays. So.
And
I still favor LGD if a 5-on-5 breaks out in the dire jungle, even with a 5k advantage for CDEC. But
yep. And there's more disable coming, like Yao putting that Hand of Midas to work going into a Scythe of Vice. He's only got the ultimate orb to start with, unless he's considering something like a Lincoln Sphere up against the Lina.
Could be really good.
Yeah.
Both of them are good here.
Yeah. Maybe you can eventually get both. But seeing PL, like, yeah, there's more and more damage coming out, but it's no direct damage. You've already got the SF with the Talisman of Evasion, so he's got that ability to avoid these attacks before the Monkey King bar is completed, and will eventually work it, obviously, into the Butterfly. But it's just making it really difficult for PL to inflict damage into him. Of course, we still look for the Wyvern to get that curse off in combination with the Darkseer. That's still something which will work for CDEC.
Yeah, so far they're trying to be sneaky here, but LGD is not giving them the opportunity. They're hoping that preferably Salar will go down here and try to push out this wave coming close to their tower, but LGD realized that this seems pretty fishy. There's no one mid.
Yep.
They know they're pushing top. Where could they possibly be? There's no Roshan. This gives LGD a big feeling of safety.
And there's nothing to gain from CDEC. Like, they're not going to take a tier 2 tower. You'll inflict some damage into a tier 3, potentially, and actually they're going to mass TP back to the base. So into the tier 3s and the tier 2 towers. This will not allow for LGD to prepare setup stuns. Like we saw previously today, but that tier 2 tower still dropping down to just below 500. Someone's going to TP back, and here it comes. The SF
he
defend
actually
the tier 3.
Been able to catch up, but they don't have the necessary information. Salad's going to cancel his TP, scared of getting caught there.
But this now means the Gunner can chase. They surged up onto the Tusker. He's running in, and the BKB from Sylar will be expended. MMY going to TP out in time. The actually will be pushed out. The fact just a second too late. But that's the 9-second BKB now down for the Luna.
Still a very good defensive play from LGD to get out of that situation. And you could just tell when you have both teams' vision in that situation that what CDEC tried to bait out is that Lina pushes the bottom tower, and the moment the first TP starts, she just wants to move away and port top so they can take a 5-on-4. But LGD realized the risk of getting outnumbered, and they start backing out. And even if they have to commit a defensive BKB from Sala to get out, it's definitely better than getting killed.
What do you think about this build coming in from the Phantom Lancer? So it looks like Aggressive's going to go into a Skadi build.
Yeah.
Is this a concern that you still just won't have enough damage that will attack into the SF? You got a lot of survivability, and now SF being slightly tested.
It's just such a good solution for PL. He benefits a lot from the all stats. The illusions get tankier. Of course, the agility is a great stat for him for the damage output. All of his illusion. A little extra mana doesn't hurt, but that's kind of a tertiary benefit at this point when he already has all that mana from the drums, Manta, as well as Diffusal Blade, and even Ring of Aquila. He has a lot of it. But regardless, I think it's a good choice. It's generally between Skadi and Heart if you don't want to go Butterfly first. And I find that most of the time Skadi is a more solid choice because how often do you get to full reset with PL and buy time and just wait out and heal up with the Heart and then go in again compared to the extra armor, the extra damage, and the slow from the Skadi. Although I guess maybe he will prioritize his Diffusal mana burn, in this case, those orbs. Of course.
Oh, we'll watch.
Never mind, it's not an orb anymore. Does it? Is it? Oh, I can't remember anymore. All these orb effects and how they stack gets changed like seemingly every major patch.
Well, luckily we don't have to worry about like Silver Blade.
It's not an orb anymore. It is not an orb. I think.
I have all the confidence in your knowledge, Synderen.
Diffusal is not an orb.
All right, so double butterfly has now arrived for LGD. Just relax, Sid, relax, just breathe. So double butterflies for LGD. This will give the extra flutter effect, so they can move quickly between the lanes or into the fights. But that blink dagger arriving at the perfect timing now for Wyvern. So Q, the ability to get that curse off on either Sylar or on Maybe could just completely change these fights. And well, Maybe aggressively walking up the PL illusions. are still around.
Oh, not again aggressive.
He's just he's caught.
They know it's
a
real.
doppelganger. And yeah, they do. They move over and attack. The Mana Style will trigger as well. Maybe winding up the ulti. Shiki's trying to slow this one down. The Shadow Grave a little bit premature on the Shadow Fiend. Not to mention the Eclipse basically being blown. Fiend's Grip is still available here. And MMY going to try and isolate himself. Garda, Walrus Punch. He's trying to go for 2 different targets. And now you've got that curse over on Sylar. But the Nova coming in from the Phoenix. MMY dropping low for Sylar. The Glaive bounces again. The Shallow Grave is keeping MMY alive. He's got 10 stick charges. He'll survive through this one. Still no casualties of war. And they're trying to escape. Now they're back in again. The double stun is only on Sylar, however. They managed to get one away, and Sylar giving life through that flame. Sylar is going to just keep on fighting it. The Glade's about to get around. Finally, they bring him down, but the attack is not enough to kill off the Darkseer. You're still got aggressive on the front line and living on 46 life. How is CDEC remaining alive?
I cannot believe how manly these players are. Just Sylar and aggressive, laying into the enemy team with 50 health. I guess they have no alternative, right? You're not getting out with that low health. Wow, that almost went wrong for CDEC. They thought someone, they're like, okay, Luna's dead. Wait, who's taking care of Luna? Okay, none of us is taking care of Luna. And they finally do target her down with the Dragon Slave, and this is going to be 1, if not 2 lanes of barracks. The only buyback on LGD is the Phoenix, and this is the price you pay when you pop 2 major ultimates prematurely. They use the Requiem, they use the Eclipse, they use the Shadow Fiend BKB, and CDEC were just like, great, let's just back out, reset for a moment, surge in key heroes, and get the job done. This game is almost over in 1 fell swoop here.
And CDEC, what a fight. What an amazing fight for them. They take both bottom racks as well as the melee from mid. Even the Rangers copping a fair chunk of damage, and now you'll see the fruits of their labor. The full Skadi completed over on the Phantom Lancer. You've got almost 5,000 gold just sitting on Alina. Tuskar could be looking to buy himself something nice with 1,200. The Darkseer is actually at a point where he can buy a Scythe of Vice. You've got to have a heavy disable. Even Wyvern has 2.4k gold. They're rolling in money.
Yeah, you get so much gold when you destroy this many barracks, and even the middle range barracks got destroyed by the Manta illusions of PL of all things. He just decided to back out. And those illus last so long. This is why Manta is so incredibly good on this hero. When you have all these items, they actually start dealing significant damage and can just push really fast and hard and onto the, just clear out entire creep waves on their own.
LGD is going for the Hallelujah play. They've managed to possess one of the CDEC melee creeps to have a bit of a look at. They're actually thinking that Roshan's being done. Now, maybe he's the only one visible inside the lane. LGD could bait this one out. They leave the melee creep inside the pit where Roshan is currently alive. I thought they were going to throw him up towards the ancient area. Instead, they'll just use him to tank against Roshan, but in comes the Sigil. CDEC well aware. They start off with the weave, so LGD going to get some good armor as Yao.
Oh, that's a good Sun Ray.
Actually able to scout out the fact that Darkseer is coming behind, canceling the blink. And where is that opening? Yao still in position for the Nova. And where is that position? They get the curse over on maybe, but Shadow Fiend already has the Aegis, the Immortal, and Shiki. He's trapped inside the pit. Sylar, the extra damage should come out from Lina, but Shiki, he's still going to drop. The Embrace is there for the Nova. They back Shao Wade again up on the hillside. He has to Shadow Grave himself. Fiends will come down to him, and in comes your Snowball. They're going to have extra help. Aggressive. He's arrived, and he's going to be bringing down LGD. Maybe trapped in the river. He's got his toes wet and now dead. The Aegis, the Immortal will bring him back up, but Yao can't keep him alive. Garda so low on life, and we've got Dragon battles while maybe caught inside the river. No BKB, no mech. The Yules on the lead trying to buy a space, but GG! CDEC will take game number 1 up against a team which everyone was calling the favorites, and a team which has refused to forfeit a series to CDEC. Game 1 goes the way of CDEC.
It's all the small plays that just add up. CDEC are incredibly good at team fighting. All of their spell usage, how crisp their combos are. You can tell how good communication they have with how they layer and combo their spells. And in addition to all the small plays, the big Darkseer play, I guess, is the story of this game. The vacuum up onto the cliff, 3